Hi. Welcome, everybody. I'm going to make this. Just don't believe this is on. Is that on?
Yeah.
I'd like to welcome all the parents, all the friends, the staff, the teachers, the coaches, everybody here to our first graduation at the Weil Tennis Academy and College Prep School. I'm going to keep this short and sweet so we can get on. We've got a lot of things to do today. This is a big day that I've got to tell you almost didn't happen. And I've got to tell you the background to that really quick. Carla and I were planning this graduation, and we suddenly got word through another student that Co and Bo Jones didn't want the graduation ceremony. So I sat down with them and I said, guys, what's up? What are you talking about? And Co and Bo sat there and said, we really don't want to do this. This is a tennis academy. There's only 2 of us. We'd just rather just pack up. Co had a flight to catch. She already booked a flight. Bo had a refrigerator to clean out. And I sat down with him and I said, Carla, let me handle this. Let me talk to you. I said, guys, you got to understand that this is an opportunity for your teachers and your friends and your classmates to all say goodbye. There's been a tremendous amount of love and support this whole year. Everybody's put a lot of energy into you guys, and we want to send you off with a big bang and a big celebration. It's going to be great. You're never going to forget this. It's going to be fantastic. And they both sat there. They took about 3 seconds, and they said, no, we don't want one. So I had to invoke my executive privilege, and I said, well, you have to. So we are here today to celebrate Co Derek and Bo Jones, our seniors, and without further ado, I'm going to give it over to Carol Short and Carla Dupuis. Thank you.
I'm going to read a poem by Robert Frost called The Road Not Taken. 2 roads diverged in the yellow wood. I'm sorry I could not travel both and be one traveller. Long I stood and looked down one as far as I could to where it bed in the undergrowth, and then took the other, as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though as for that, the topping there had one really about the same. And both that morning equally lay in leaves, no step had trodden back. Oh, I kept the first for another day. Yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. 2 roads diverged in the wood, and I took the one less travel time, and that has made all the difference. Good morning. I have my gymnasium voice. I'm sure it'll work. Thank you for being here. This is a beautiful day. You don't know how panicked I was about 1 o'clock last night driving home in the rain and saying, man, this can't be. Fix it, Lord. This has got to be a beautiful day. And it has turned out to be indeed. Some thank yous are definitely in order. First of all, thank you, God, for this beautiful setting. What a wonderful day in weather. And we couldn't ask for a better space and place to be. Mark, thanks for your kind and completely true introduction. And thank you, Jane and Mark, both for your enthusiasm and your support this year. It's been great. And we thank you for your tremendous vision in starting this academy. Carol, thank you for reading that poem so I wouldn't muck it up. And putting you on the spot to do so. Faculty and colleagues, you look awfully chipper today. And we thank you for being here and wearing this regalia and feeling like a penguin with the rest of us. Okay? Jill, I want to thank you for all your work. This has been a tremendous year. The amount of work that she has done is phenomenal. She came to us from a corporate enterprise setting, had never been in an educational setting, let alone a tennis academy. With all the travel arrangements and everything, she has had to do a professional growth opportunity like she had never envisioned. So thank you, Jill. Students, thank you for showing up and getting out of bed this morning. And the students have done most of the work that it's taken to clean this place up, although they needed to do so. But they went way beyond that and scrubbed chairs and swept out, cleaned refrigerators, and moved refrigerators. So thank you for being here and supporting both college voters. Parents and family, thank you for being here. We wish more could have shown up today, but we understand there's busy schedules. Because without your love and support and continuous refills from the student bank accounts, your sons and daughters could not have enjoyed this year of wonderful experiences together. Friends, Paige especially, thank you for coming. This is exciting that you could be here and to endure a commencement exercise that really has nothing to do with you necessarily, other than your loyalty to your friends. And that's really nice. And finally, I'd like to thank Zane Pope and his crew, and Sam, and Steve, and Pam's brother, Leonardo, for getting all the grounds prepared for us. It looks beautiful. Robert Frost spent a little time in New England, and I spent some time there as well, in Boston. I went to Boston University for my master's degree, and I used to have to drive in there frequently. But our poem from Mr. Frost is a pleasant reminder for each of us to enjoy the roads that we travel. Whether they go this or that way, we have to make a decision each time we come to a crossroads. And he's suggesting that we enjoy it and try to get in as much as we can. We always have to choose one way or the other. Sometimes it's a good choice, sometimes it's not. As he suggests, there never seems to be enough time to travel all the roads we come across, even if we'd like to do so. We must, again, make choices among so many. There are rough roads, smooth roads, bumpy roads, gravel roads, and roads made of asphalt. There are wide roads and narrow roads. There are endless roads into the sunset, and icy roads in winter blizzards, and no roads at all sometimes when you need one the most. In the New England area where Robert Frost spent many of his years, and I spent a few, there are indeed many crossroads. They have very interesting intersections there. I don't know how many of you have been to New England. Driven in Boston and New York, you can attest to this. You see, what happened when the Pilgrims came over to the Americas and landed, they had come for religious freedom. They built a church in the center of their village to represent that everything that they were thankful for had to do with God and their beliefs and their religious freedom. And the church became the hub of the community. As they grew out beyond the village perimeters, the houses and so on went around like spokes on a wheel. And pretty soon the wheel got pretty large, and they started putting roadways in between those spokes. So in New England, we think rather of a four-road stop. In New England, it's not uncommon to find 5 or 6 roads converging at one point. Then you have to do an interesting thing. They have what they call rotaries, or roundabouts. Roundabouts, if you walk like that. And you actually have to jump in this roundabout, and you can be 3 cars deep, going around in a circle and trying to peel off to the road that you need to go to next. It's really interesting. It's more like an Indy 500 at 5 o'clock traffic hour. One of the things I enjoyed about New England were the back roads into the beautiful wooded area, especially in the fall. There's so many country roads, and so many ways to get lost, as you can imagine. It reminds me of a little story. If you're familiar with New England humor, it's very dry and subtle, so you have to pay attention. There was a man and his wife driving through the country on a picnic, but they were late for their next appointment, and he was rushed along the way. And of course, true to form, man that he was, he refused to stop and get directions, and his wife pleaded. Does that sound familiar? Can you realize? Finally, he was so annoyed that he pulled over at this little country store. And there sat the storekeeper, who was a kindly old gentleman, white hair, rose glasses, sitting very pleasantly. The man came rushing in and saying, "Can I take this road to Londonderry?" "No, can't take this road nowhere. Stays right here." "But I've got to get there quickly. How does it go there? How can I get there?" "Well, let's see there. Take this road down about a mile, turn right, go another mile, turn another right. Then I think, well, actually, we can't take that road. This road goes nowhere." "You stupid idiot." "Yeah, but I'm not lost." I learned many of my lessons about how to discover roads from my most favorite aunt. Often, especially during the summertime or early spring, my Auntie Jo would come bounding into the house and announce to all of us, "Come on, everybody, let's hit the road." She would have prepared a wonderful lunch ahead of time and with all sorts of enticing goodies to eat along the way. And boy, she could really pack a lunch. It was always an adventure when we went with her. We never went the same place twice in all the times that I remember us going. And I never came home less than exhausted and falling into bed with my head filled with ideas about everything we'd just experienced and all the wonderment such trips afford. On one occasion, however, Auntie Jo decided to take an old road off into the bushes that had only the faintest tracks leading away. All of a sudden, we found ourselves driving right onto an old, rickety suspension bridge. It was about 100 feet high above a raging river, and the car was already about 2/3 of the way onto the bridge before we realized it. The car settled with gentle little swash and the creaking sound of this bridge. I was terrified. I know I went absolutely pale, and my mother began to scream. Auntie Jo panicked for an instant, and she hit the brakes. As a result, the car started to slide sideways and pressed the car against the guy wire against the bridge. I immediately jumped out of the car and said, "No way am I going to cross this bridge." I didn't believe that bridge would hold us. After my mother finally quit screaming, Auntie Jo just drove them both off across the bridge like it was nothing, leaving me standing there. I had to walk across. To this day, I still can't abide suspension bridges, even backpacking. I'd rather hike the other extra mile around. That was the one road I wish we'd never explored. But thanks to my Auntie Jo, as I've gone through life to this point, I'm always curious about a road that isn't quite as well traveled. It beckons to me to drive towards that horizon, or to see what's around the next bend. I've had some wonderful adventures and discoveries following those less traveled roads. Some were good, some not so good, but all were valuable experiences. So how do you choose if you're given a choice when you find yourself at the crossroads of life? Co-Daddy Derek and Bo Jones, you're entering a crossroads today. Though I know you're going to be traveling next year, what an exciting opportunity. Bo is off to Boise State to show him how it's done, and we're so proud of you both and wish you well on your travels. My counsel to you is to always travel the roads of your future wholeheartedly, with boldness and a clear eye to see the horizons ahead. Look at the crossroads and intersections of life as great opportunities to explore your destiny. Remember the Weil Diamond Press and experience. Be a leader in faith, in virtue, and commitment to truth. Serve others, always with generosity of spirit and kindness, and lend your hands to work for their best interest. Always strive for excellence, knowing that there is forever a higher mark to reach. Remember that no matter how good you may be, remain humble, for there are always those better than you are on any given day. And when you travel the roads of life, remember to always pack a lunch.
My challenge to you involves all of our students. Remember who you are and where you've been. Your memories will guide you on your path, but they cannot satisfy you. You must always move ahead. And finally, in closing, know this. In each of you is the promise of our future. In a world confused by overwhelming technological advances that are arriving at warp speed, you will make sense of it. Like an enormous jigsaw puzzle, you will put each piece together until the picture is clear. You will be the ones to bring the broken pieces of humanity together so that they fit squarely into the picture of global diversity. It will be you who will find the final missing pieces in the fight against disease, suffering, and death, the answers to poverty and starvation. And it is on your shoulders to bring hope to the world's newborn children so that their futures may be bright and prosperous. You will find the way to peace among revolting nations and bring harmony back from their ways of war and anarchy. It is your responsibility to find the solutions to the enormous problems of nuclear waste, global warming, and how to save our world's environment. It will be you who will travel to the galaxies and to the stars. You will explore the vast horizons of the unknown. You will find the answers. And you will ask the most pertinent questions. Yes, this life is an adventure. It's your road for the taking. It's your responsibility. You make the choices and decide your future. So choose your course carefully. Are you ready?
Thank you, Carla. Now I'm going to introduce my wife, Jane, who's going to do the introduction of the seniors.
Thank you. We're going to focus a little bit on the seniors and our impressions of them this year, because they've been here. But I wanted to make a comment to everyone today. I noticed this week a lot of emotions have come to the surface, and I realized that in a way it's a mini graduation for everyone, because it won't be the same next year. It'll be a different combination of people. Some of you won't be here. There'll be extra kids here. So because it's such a tight community, you almost experience what the seniors experience in the sense that your class is going away and you won't be with the same people next year. So all of this is focused a little bit on all of you, but obviously it's you two because we know you won't be here. Everybody knows that every time I've come this year, I'm generally bragging my children. And so I wanted to do a little something for you two guys that spoke from our children's bookshelf. One of Jack's favorite books is called Oh, the Places You Go by Dr. Seuss. Congratulations. Today is your day. You're off to great places. You're off and away. You have brains in your head. You have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. You're on your own, and you know what you know, and you are the one who will decide where to go. You'll look up and down streets, look them over with care. About some you will say, I don't choose to go there. With your head full of brains and your shoes full of feet, you're too smart to go down any not-so-good street. And you may not find any you'll want to go down. In that case, of course, you'll head straight out of town. It's opener there, in the wide open air. Out there, things can happen, and frequently do, to people as brainy and footsie as you. And when things start to happen, don't worry, don't stew, just go right along. You'll start happening too. Oh, the places you'll go. You'll be on your way up. You'll be seeing great sights. You'll join the high flyers who soar to high heights. You won't lag behind because you'll have the speed. You'll pass the whole gang. You'll soon take the lead. Wherever you fly, you'll be the best of the best. Wherever you go, you will top all the rest. Except when you die, because sometimes you won't. I'm sorry to say so, sadly it's true, but bang-ups and hang-ups can happen to you. You can get all hung up in a prickly perch, and your gang will fly on and leave you in the lurch. You'll come down from the lurch with an unpleasant bump, and the chances are then that you'll be in a slump. And when you're in a slump, you're not in for much fun. Unslumping yourself is not easily done. But somehow you'll escape all that slumping and staying. You'll find the bright places where boom bands are playing. With banners flip-flapping, once more you'll ride high, ready for anything under the sky. Oh, the places you'll go. There is fun to be done. There are points to be scored. There are games to be won. And the magical things you can do with the ball will make you the winningest winner of all. Fame. Oh, you'll be famous. Famous as famous can be. The whole wide world watching you on TV. Except when they die, because sometimes they won't. I'm afraid that sometimes you'll play lonely games, too. Games you can't win as you play against you. All alone. Whether you like it or not, alone will be something you'll be quite a lot. And when you're alone, there's a very good chance you'll meet things that scare you right out of your pants. There are some down the road between hither and yon that can scare you so much you won't want to go on. But you will go on, though the weather be foul. On you will go through your enemy's prowl. Onward up many a frightening creek, though your arms may be sore and your sneakers may leak. On and on you will hike, and I know you'll go far, and face up to your problems, whatever they are. You'll get mixed up, of course, as you already know. You'll get mixed up with many strange birds as you go. So be sure when you step with care and great tact, and remember that life's a great balancing act. Just never forget to be dexterous and deft, and never mix up your right foot with your left. And will you succeed? Yes, you will indeed. 98.75% guaranteed. Kids, you'll move mountains. So be your name Buckbaum or Bixby or Bray or Mordecai Allen or Allen or Shea. You're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting. So get on your way. So we've had a lot of sides of you guys in here. It's not like a normal school. And we'd like to explore those sides a little bit. And what I've asked is for Skip and Dirk to speak for a moment about you two. And I'm going to turn the mic over to them and have them talk about your tennis game or their impressions of you on the court. So, Dirk, if you want to come up first and speak about coach. And I'll let you turn it over to Skip.
Co. You know, when Mark told me that Co was coming here, I was real happy. I remember coming down and picking him up. And I kind of know Co a little bit more because I lived with him. And the first thing when Jane asked me to speak and say some things about him, the first thought that came to my mind was passion. For those of you guys that lived with him, you know he's got an incredible amount of energy in whatever he does. Whether it's playing a video game. Every morning I'm waking up and he's singing. I mean, he's singing with just everything. And that was unique. I mean, I felt that, you know, whether he was on a tennis court, I know a lot of you guys have learned that he's an intelligent guy, and he not only learned, but he made sure that he was going to remember it. And he spent, I think out of all you guys, I know you guys are all the same classes and whatnot, but it just seemed like that's all he did. Was school and tennis. And I really respected, you know, the fact that this was a guy who knew what he wanted and had a good realistic view of you know, how he was going to get there, and he has priorities straight, and he's just a good all-around guy. And, you know, as far as a tennis player, he's very intricate. Sometimes maybe too into it, but, you know, it's better to be too involved than not enough. But I believe that he's going to have a lot of good tennis ahead of him. He's a hard worker. He's got a great, not only does he come out and play tennis just to play tennis, but he knows a lot about the game, the history of the game. we play trivia games, and I'd always get in a bind, and this guy knew everything. You know, which gave me, I really know he loved the game, which a lot of people sometimes are out there working hard, but it's good to see, so have someone with you and have someone around that loves the game that much, and is even, you know, it makes that much more fun for me to come out and work with them. And so it was fun. I'm gonna miss you, and I know I'll probably see you around. And if you ever have any questions, go ahead and give me a call. You can find my number. You know, and just good luck. I don't know exactly what you're doing, but I know you will succeed. And I'm sure that there'll be a lot of coach following behind you. So good luck. All right.
Josh, I'm not sure I see the red light on. Can you make sure the video, can you press the little red button again?
Yeah, it's recording.
Is it recording?
Yeah.
Okay.
One thing is, I'm honored and thrilled to talk about goals because like a month ago we were talking over by Court 10 and we were talking about, I said, well, why did you come over to the Weil Tennis Academy? She said, well, it's a tennis school and there's schooling about it. But the first time Bo ever saw me, she was really, she was afraid of me. She thought it was going to be hard. She was going to have a hard time with me because I looked like I was always mad or something. But that's where I am. But I am honored to talk about Bo because, you know, we talked about her personal life and she also let me talk about where she was going to go to school. That's delicate. That was really delicate. It was a delicate decision. Because she had 4 full-ride scholarships offered her. Long Beach State, Boise, to Iowa, and Washington State. And that's great. She has 4 full-ride scholarships. And that's what I said to all of the parents, that I'm going to try to get scholarships to everybody that participates at the Weil Tennis Academy. And kept on asking Cole, what does he want to do? But he wants to travel a little bit more. So if he ever comes back and calls me up, can I get a tennis scholarship somewhere? I'll be happy to help him out. Like Bo Hackey also got a scholarship to support him, but we're talking about Bo, okay? But the thing is, you know, we talked about should she go to Boise State, and the reason why I chose Boise State is because my daughter went there and she graduated from there. So the key thing is like the 2 coaches that are there, or there's 3 coaches that are there. They're national coaches that I know really well. And Bo is such a hard worker. I mean, the key thing, she's such a hard worker that sometimes her temper goes overboard. And that's the thing that she has to work on. And I know the coaches are going to help her there. Because I know Jim Morgan and I know Greg Patton that's going to be there. And the new coach, I'm not supposed to announce the woman coach, but they're all good. And they really work on your personal life. I know Jim Morgan knew everything that my daughter did. So Jim's going to be doing the same thing with Bo because he recruited her. The key thing, she's a hard work on the tennis courts. She's a hard work in academics because I know every time she came over to me, she says, I might not be able to play tennis because she wants to have good grades so she could go to a college. She's a hard worker playing, goofing around the house. I mean, I hear stories that she's a hard worker and goofing around. She breaks pillows over Sarah, Catherine, Tiffany's head. Pillows, I'm talking about. And then she has fun with Paige. And she worked so hard, she threw her out the window. but she is a special person, and I know she's gonna go far. The key thing I told Bo is that she hasn't blossomed yet. She started tennis when she was like 13 or 14. I wish I could have coached her when she was 10. I could see where she could be because she's such a great athlete. But the thing is, the rewards that she's going to get is the coaches that are going to get to work with her in college, they're going to get the big rewards because that's when she's going to blossom. She's going to be a good athlete. She's going to be doing well in academics, and I know she's going to be a great tennis player. And you're going to see her name out on the college team because she has 3 good coaches that she's going to be working with. And the good exciting thing is that she's going to Boise, and then the Ojai tournament, we're going to get to see her play here in our own club. And that's the most exciting part. Seeing a person that graduated from the Weil Tennis Academy and getting to see her play so we can show other kids that maybe are younger that hasn't participated in the Weil Tennis Academy. Here's a person that's playing at the Ojai tournament. So I'm excited that I got to know you and keep in touch, and I'll do everything I can, even if you need me to talk to your coaches at Boise.
side two is the academics. So we've asked some teachers to speak on their impressions of you. And I hope I'm doing this right. For Co, it's Jim and Carol Short. I think to let us know about you.
I realized that I had a very different kind of a student on my hands when I asked Co for the first time to read to me in my English class. And when I read Co's first English assignment, it was a poem about Weil, I knew that this was a student whose talents extended way beyond the tennis court. Co is one of those rare students who has a passion for the English language. He is a lover of words. He absorbs them and relishes them in the same way as you and I would a Haagen-Dazs ice cream. He is a verbal gymnast who is not beyond trying to dazzle his English teacher with his words there. There is an author called E.B. White who wrote this about an essayist, and I think this describes Co very well. The essayist can pull on any sort of shirt, be any sort of person, according to his mood or his subject matter. A philosopher, a scold, a jester, a raconteur, a confidant, a pundit, a devil's advocate, an enthusiast. And that's you, Co. Not only can Co write exceedingly well, but he's also an actor. The other students invariably preferred Co's reading to anyone else's. He has a way of bringing the words to life. For example, Macbeth. When he would read Shakespeare's bloody text with such hearty vigor that other teachers were eventually hanging over the partition asking for mercy. We also saw evidence of Co's acting ability when his father was kind enough to send us his video production of Importance of Being Earnest, a play in which Co played the lead role. Needless to say, he played a thoroughly convincing Jack Worthing. I have a funny little memory of Co. Every time he'd turn in an assignment, it would be signed not as Co or as even Gerard or Derek, but always as something outlandish. He'd be signed Codfish or Co Derriere. Some such foolishness. These aliases were almost as entertaining as the assignments themselves. Co's enthusiasm for English and his contributions in our literature classes have made this year enjoyable and memorable. I'm going to miss him. But I know that whatever Co chooses to do in life, he will be successful. Just a parting note, Co, from your English teacher, if you're ever thinking about a major for college, consider journalism. I'll give you a reference.
Classes were always interesting with Co around. He was always ready to pounce, to try and catch me out, to find a problem I couldn't do. Of course, the one minor thing that he forgot was that in the end I got to set the test, and he was great.
Oh boy.
But I did find, with the help of my wife, a little quote from Twelfth Night by Shakespeare that I think kind of sums up Co. It says, "This fellow is wise enough to play the fool, and to do that well craves a kind of wit. He must observe their mood on whom he jests, the quality of persons and the time, and, like the haggard, check at every feather that comes before his eye. This is a practice as full of labor as a wise man's art." It was always enjoyable to work with Co. It's always a pleasure to teach students who want to learn and are willing to invest the time and energy to do the necessary work. The fact that Co was also very bright and had a great sense of humor just made the time and my work doubly enjoyable. It's been a pleasure, Co, and all the best.
Tommy Brown and Tobacco Jones.
Well, before me there were English majors and people who could go on and speak just beautifully. Now you've got a science major before you who has 3 lines on and off. Over the course of a school year, I teach 400 junior high and high school students. They sit in my classrooms, and I'm always impressed, one way or another, with each one. Bo Jones is one of the very special ones. Not going to cry, it's not going to be good. Knowledge doesn't come easy for Bo. She has to work very hard at every single thing. She gives 110%. And I think, given an equal playing field, she would have excelled beyond the farthest, brightest with minimal effort. She works exceptionally hard and is stellar in her attempt. You struggle, you succeed beautifully, and you're not afraid to try, and it pays off. You you've done really, really well. SAT scores, full rides to 4 universities. You can't complain at all. You've done beautifully. So I'm really proud of you, and I know you can do anything that you reach for. And I want to see you at every tournament in Ojai, because you were so nice to come so close to home that I could come and see you play even more. So I wish you all the best. Keep going on the path you choose. You'll be fine. Because you've got to be fine.
Of course, to complete the triangle, you had your life in the dorm. And so we have asked each of your classmates to sign an autograph book for you, in which they were asked to choose either a word or a small phrase that they felt described you. And we've chosen a couple of your closest friends to read those words to us. So, Co, if you will, Ryan Bailey will read Co's autograph book, and when they're finished, you can give it to them. Oh, I think there's still a few people that want to add a little more. So they'll find you this morning and add a little more in there, but their words are definitely there. And when Ryan is done, please will come up and tell us a little bit about both.
Well, I don't think there's enough pages in here to describe Co. We all picked a word and did our best. A lot of them have been covered here this morning, but some of them include like theatrical, and enlightener, intelligent. We got genius here. He's a hard worker. He's also laid back. Weil stood out in people's minds. Talented, hilarious, exotic. We got McEnroe, dedicated, handsome, and eccentric. I wasn't too sure what I thought about Co when he showed up here this year. His blue hair and his crazy clothes. I've gotten really close to Co. This is kind of hard for me. I'm going to miss him a whole lot. And I hope that he and I can stay in touch. He's just a great, great guy that I wish we had more like him here.
Here's some words that they said. Dedicated. Awesome. Intense. User. Strong. Uplifting. Motivated. Enthusiastic. Competitive. Inspirational. Genuine. Focus. Dedicated. I just want to say that being a roommate with Bo is a great experience. She's a great person. Her hard work ethic is just, it makes me want to excel. I mean, she's just incredible. She had to work really hard in school. I'm so proud of you. Congratulations.
I'm going to let you guys pick. I forgot. You could make a response. Did you want to do that? I heard that Bo was preparing it and the coach said, no way.
Well, frankly, I must say that when all is said and done, I'm kind of glad we had the graduation. It's kind of I don't know how, but somehow Father knows best. So I'd just like to thank you for overriding our absolute not wanting to do this at all. But I think what I got out of this place most is that I'm happy. I feel great. I don't have any regrets. I don't feel like, there's something I could have done better, or that, or that there's still something keeping me back, or I'm unsure of who I am or what I want to do. I just feel liberated. Like, I've done what I wanted to do, and I'm here now, and I don't care what I do, but I know I'm going to love it, and I'm happy, and that's what I like the best. So thank you all, and I appreciate all your support, and I know it took a lot for everyone to be here and to, put their time into this academy, and thank you.
Let's see. Gosh. Just, I really do want to thank Mark for giving me the opportunity of being here, being a part of this. It's been great. For having this activity, everyone's got to do for being a school president. I really do appreciate that. If I didn't have that, it would go crazy, For the teachers, that was the biggest part. That was the hardest part for me to get through. See if I could do it on my own. It was the biggest challenge that I've ever took. Having my mom to be there to help me, support me through that. That was a big deal for me, and I want to thank Bonnie, Mrs. Brown, and Mrs. Short for taking the extra mile for me. I really do appreciate what they've done. Gosh, I mean, it's just been one great year. I've had so much fun. I want to thank my parents, even though they couldn't be here. Just to help me have this chance to be here through this time. It's been great. I've had so much fun. Throwing paste through the window, that type of stuff. No, but for students, I really do appreciate this with you guys. I never had really a younger sister, really old brother. My brother and sister were spread apart, so it's not, I've never gotten a fight with, people that I love, and so it's like, it's kind of weird. It was testing me to see how I do with sisters and brothers. I don't know, you guys all have a special place in my heart. This has been a great experience for me to do it. I'm glad that I did it. Glad that I came. If I had to do it again, I'd do it. That's all. Thanks so much.
Now, the crowning moment, we would like to award diplomas to our graduating seniors. Just going to consult our photographer.
That's what she does.
The following students have successfully completed a high school course. It is Gerard Henry Barrett.
Pretty, ain't she?
So, Michael, Joe. Mikhail, I'm sorry. Joe Mikhail. some other academic awards here. All I have to do is get the final notes for it. We have two categories of academic awards that will involve all of our students here at Weil. One of the questions that came before me from parents was, is your school good enough? Do you have honors and AP programs? And I said, well, I guess we will have. I was a little disappointed, though, in the honors and AP program students, some of them that came here, because I really felt like they were cheated. I think some of the public schools have the AP honors programs to get financial funding only, but they haven't really stood up to the test. So my faculty this year has been very astute and been rigorous in making sure we have not only met state regulations and requirements, but that we're testing to the SAT. I'm very happy to report that all three of our first SAT candidates have surpassed the 1,000 mark. 800 is only required, and we have 1350, a 1370, and an 1170. We're well on our way. Our crew test students, though, will be next October when the majority of you test again. But I'm confident. Not only do we now have our accreditation in hand and on the way, but we are graduating two young people who are going to do nothing but shine for Weil. The two categories of awards this morning that will involve all of you students are the Award of Academic Excellence and the Award of Honors. The Award of Academic Excellence are for those students who achieve grades at a level of 89 to 96% on all work in a given course may be considered academic excellence. These students are those who take pride in their work, do thoughtful writing and presentation, articulate their thoughts and ideas clearly, and who are able to carry on solid debate on the issues and topics presented to them for study. These students are anxious to learn and are willing to be instructed. Teachers recognize their hard work and effort to achieve ever higher standards in their coursework and in their written or spoken presentations. And as such, we extend to these students the Award of Academic Excellence. The next level of award is the Award of Honors. Honors are awarded to students for exceptional accomplishments well beyond normal course requirements. Honors are established at a rigorous 97% or higher on all coursework completed in a course of study. The Award of Honors designates those students who can distinguish themselves among their peers through a high caliber of performance. They are meticulous in their papers and presentations and are decidedly able to persuade others on their points of debate. They demonstrate excellence in research and writing and have also demonstrated exceptional ability to articulate thoughts and ideas through a variety of learning applications. Honor students are able to retrieve factual knowledge in both quantity and quality through all venues of learning tools, including internet research, books, library viewing, current publications, and so on. But more importantly, they are then able to utilize this knowledge in practical applications for current problems and issues. Most importantly, honor students demonstrate the ability to think, to solve problems, and to formulate new ideas and ways of seeing things. They are able to combine old methodologies and new technologies and add their own twist that creates new avenues for exploration. They are able to find the answers to the more advanced and difficult questions presented to them, and as such, are distinguished with honor. I've asked each faculty member to present their own course award.
I have the honor of handing out the Chemistry and Physics Award. The recipients of the Chemistry and Physics Academic Excellence Awards have all shown exceptional effort in their pursuit of knowledge.
Their classwork participation and research experiments were outstanding. We don't have a nuclear lab at this school yet. Or a chemistry lab, which you can perform grand experiments. But these youngsters have gotten on the internet. They've used simple procedures to create the same experimental tasks, and have done so beautifully. The chemistry students included in their experimental studies and research in the fields of corrosion, bread molds, and an intriguing nitrogen experiment that you'll have to ask Bo Jones about later. Anyway, I'm very proud to present Academic Excellence Awards to all of these chemistry and physics students. When you hear your names, could you all come up? These are the chemistry. Honors Awards to Tiffany Brown. Please come up and read the go. Okay, and Bo, please come up, all three of them. Yes, well, you want them all together? Wait, come here. Here, go this way and you won't get in the middle of the microphone. No, guess what? I'll shake hands. No. Very good. And we have the physics gentleman. The physics students had a quantum of information to fly through in millisemesters of time, guided by quark solar radiation and cyberspace travel. In addition, these 3 men of physics found topics which really interested them and went on to write exploratory papers which I had not even thought of. I found it most interesting their mechanics of light, quantum gravity, and Coe's possibility of time travel within a computer. I need to hear more about that later. It's great. It's great. It's a great paper. I'm very pleased to present these awards to Ryan Daly, Josh Haskins, and Coe Jarrett.
Overhanding, bro.
Here, yeah, go. We can do this. Here, take your hands out. Quick for the camera. Okay, I'm the only one. Thank you. You're not going to do it.
Hold your
Excellent.
Thank you.
I had a cold, so I'm going to talk about cold. I have taught Japanese course since last September. Coe is self-motivated and he studies very hard. Also, he is willing to take challenges. He didn't complain about inconveniences. He had to take the classes regularly from 6:30 p.m. That was also dinner time. But he studied without complaining or missing class. This was not easy for a young growing adult. Thank you. Looking back when I taught Coe, I was impressed by his motivation, independence, and the ability to learn a foreign language. And I hope that he will learn more foreign languages and become an active international person. But whatever he does, he'll success.
Hi, my name is Manny Silvio. I'm the mathematics teacher. I'd like to present awards for Algebra 1, first year algebra, Algebra 2, which is a more advanced version of algebra. We teach geometry, and then biology. The core thing that I've stressed this year at Weil is that memorization of mathematics is so boring I don't even know. I try to enforce in class and also encourage strategic thinking. And one day I mentioned in the class, I said, you people do the same thing on the tennis court with a strategy. You're logical, you're playing your game. Why is math so different? And I try to encourage that. Critical thinking was the most important thing I could possibly pass on to the students. The fact that they memorized the problem in the book wasn't exciting, but the fact that they could understand what they were doing and carry that with them to the tennis court, actually, was my goal. Now, Algebra 1 is a fundamental course. You've all been through that in some form or another. But it's the basic building blocks of algebra. And the students, as Carla said, if they get an 89 through 96, it was more than just a numerical grade. It was considered their participation, their enthusiasm, their ability to show up on time, to contribute to class participation. All those factors made a significant, meaningful choice in this award. So, the students will probably come up for the Algebra 1. Mr. Kevin Gill. Next award is for Algebra 2, which is a more advanced version of Algebra 1. In this particular class, we, again, I would re-emphasize this, the critical thinking skills was the key thing. We had a good class, actually, in Algebra 2. I was very impressed with the students. I was more impressed with their competitive nature and their ability to stick in there, especially coming back tired from class. Some of the students I met at actually 6 o'clock in the morning, 6:30 in the morning, because they had classes with Skip in the morning on the tennis court. I had to come in and work with them extra, and they did that on their own, actually. And I commend them for that enthusiasm and desire. So with Algebra 2, the following students have academic excellence awards. Tiffany Bremer, Michael Cameron, June Jacobs, and Travis Williamson. Right in here. Your award.
Have together and turn towards
Yeah, you can close one. Close. Good. Next set of awards, and the final award in the low-level mathematics, would be in geometry. Now, geometry, you know, triangles, boxes, and tennis courts, rectangles, and, you have to make it interesting somehow, rather than just trying to memorize a bunch of things. And what I tried to do was, we had some interesting discussions in geometry class about the fourth dimension, and hyperspace, and what would life be in the future, and who knows where we're going with all this physics and mathematics that's going on. And the students are very good. I find that the students in the geometry class and the sophomore level students had a phenomenal gift of thinking. And maybe that's tennis related. Maybe the coaches in tennis are instilling good, solid skills in their thinking skills on the court. Because I find that in the classroom, the reasoning that they go through with the mathematics is very interesting, and I hope they carry that with them for the rest of their career. The certificates award in geometry are presented to the following students: Catherine Heppel and Ryan Redondo. And I must make one comment about Ryan. I've never seen a more dedicated student in my life. He is excellent, very, very responsible. He's been all over the world in the last 3 or 4 months, and yet he's always taken the time to read 22 chapters in biology on you know, international flights and hotel rooms, and I take my hat off to Ryan.
The last award is in the subject of biology. And biology, again, it's one of these things where you memorize the species of a frog or something, or, plants, and there's a billion things you memorize. I know I repeated this several times, but my real focus was to give the student some knowledge of molecular biology. And we talked about the current problems such as the AIDS virus and immune system and blood, and all the molecular things and biological things that would help the student understand the practical aspects of biology, especially with genetic engineering and cloning being such a popular thing these days. So we really tried to make it practical, and again, the students were outstanding with their cooperation. So the following students have academic excellence awards in biology: Bo Berglund, Catherine Heffel, and June Jacobs.
I'm going to start with speech, which is an elective that I did in the last semester. And I knew it would be a challenge right away when it was slotted at 7:30 in the morning, and I'd be facing these sleepy heads and talking about public speaking. And we did a number of things. We had some planned speeches, we had an interview, we had a commercial, we did debate. So we managed to cover a number of things in our speech class, and I think at the end of the day, I think we can say that we enjoyed ourselves and that they learned something. And then in fact, what I did for their final was to get them to give a 3-minute speech on how to give a good speech. So it required them to actually go over all the stuff that we've covered and bring it all together in the form of a speech. I have some awards here at honors and academic excellence level. For honors, I think I'll just read all of them. Okay, for honors, I have Tiffany Breimer and June Jacobs. For academic excellence, I award the certificates to Bo Berglund, Catherine Heffel, Nick Moxley, and Nicholas Rainey. One was American Lit, one was World Literature, and the other one was European or British Literature. And it's funny how different classes can take on different characters. And I think that my American Lit class was one I really enjoyed, because it seemed like that even though it was an afternoon class, and afternoon classes, I think, as compared to morning classes, aren't always the most successful because of the sleepiness factor. They really contributed, and I was really encouraged by the way they learned to interpret literature and be able to see imagery and symbols. It's a learning process of literature, but I felt that by the end of this year they were really getting it, and I was particularly impressed with two people here, Michael Cameron and Kelly Parker. I'd like to give out those to them. Now we come to British literature, and this was a class I really enjoyed. We went all the way from Beowulf and Canterbury Tales on up through until we finally got to Importance of Being Earnest. And it was a thoroughly enjoyable ride. And I wanted to give these 3 awards because of the quality of writing, the quality of participation, and the excellent thought process that went into any of their assignments. Some of the literature was hard, and but I think that these 3 students managed extremely well. I'd like to award this to Ryan Daly, Co Derrick, and Josh Haskell. My final class is World Literature, which mainly comprises 10th graders, and we tried to cover a number of authors from around the world. We started with a South African one, Try the Beloved Country, and I think I started with that because that's a region that I identify very closely with. And we also did Lord of the Flies, and we did a number of work. The one student that really, I think, consistently achieved a high level was June Jacobs.
The awards in pre-calculus and calculus are based on outstanding effort and high achievement throughout the year. And awards go to Ryan Daly in pre-calculus and Co Derrick and Josh Haskins in calculus.
I had the good fortune of knowing all the students in my 5 different history classes. So what I'm going to describe is what were the qualities that these students showed, the honors and the academic excellence students, what qualities they mastered, what they showed, and it truly goes beyond the academics. Because history is an incredible subject, and it can be one that becomes very dry quickly, or if the students become engaged with it, it becomes interesting quickly. And I was very impressed with the students. So what I saw is beyond just the academics that we've already talked about in the different classes, that I also saw with my students an ability to look at the author's point of view, even of the textbook in history, to be aware of who's writing the book even that they're studying from, and then to develop their own point of view, in contrast to that if necessary at times. So sometimes they would work out away from the book and see what else is out there, for instance on the internet, and find different views of history that we were studying. Also, these students became frequently emotionally engaged in the topic. There were different assignments that helped them feel what it may have felt like to be in that time period. There was also an intellectual engagement that these sort of students created. So not just an emotional reaction maybe to the facts, whether it was boredom or excitement, but also an intellectual engagement with it too. And the fact that these students can actually weave the two together is incredible. It's a very hard skill, even for adults, to weave your emotions and your intellect and come up with something clear that you can communicate verbally and in written form, and these students did it. Also, these students showed an incredible ability for creativity with their assignments, in the most positive form of the word. They were able to look at different forms of music, their own videos, their own movies that they're seeing right now, books that they may be reading, and they could actually connect this with history. And that is an amazing feat in itself, because if you all remember your own history classes, some of them were pretty short at times. And these students actually were able to take away the boredom moments. We had CD players going even up to yesterday, doing musical essays, and they were telling me about what these musical CDs meant to them, but I was also hearing what the history meant to them, the connections they made there. So that sort of engagement shows up in these honor students and in the academic excellence students. And the other thing these students did, I felt frequently, is they didn't leave the history behind or the social sciences when they closed the books or they turned away from me. I really felt that something had connected for them in many different areas. Maybe it was only in one area. They studied Vietnam. Maybe that's where they felt the emotional engagement the most. But I felt that they are walking away with something that they will carry. It's not just back to memorize the text at every moment. And the last thing that, because I'm an anthropology major, the last thing that I truly stressed in my classes, and I think these students heard me the most clearly, was a global awareness that every bit of the history that they were being asked to learn, and the geography, and the world history, and the economics, and the civics, they had to be able to relate to it from a global position. And they did. They truly were able to provide insight into how their decisions, even from this moment on, somehow does affect the world. Truly. I think every student that achieved at this level of grade saw that and was able to relate to it. They were able to relate to how different nations actually somehow affect all of us at every moment, even currently. And we did a lot of current events at times to keep bringing that point home, so they understood that it was happening right now. It's not just in the book. And the comments these students made in class, the comments they've made to each other at times, really, truly revealed that they had got it. They had got it every sort of way that history teacher hoped. So I'm going to bring you all up here together rather than do every class, because there's so many different classes. Okay, so the honors students are Ryan Daly in U.S. History, Gerard Coe, Derek, in Civics and Economics, Joshua Haskell in U.S. History, Bo Jones in Civics and Economics, Michael Cameron in U.S. History. These are all honor students. Academic excellence went to Kevin Gill in world history, June Jacobs in world geography. That's it. I've got one picture of you now. You guys.
I'm going to present the award in French. I have 4 students this year, out of which 2 were honor students. What I'm looking for in an honor student is an exceptional level of achievement, which is the result of consistent effort and deep interest in the subject. An honor student is somebody that has a real desire to excel in knowledge and performance well beyond the interest in the grade. It is someone who demonstrates consistently throughout understanding of the subject and a consistency in the performance in all of their assignments. Et je suis très fière d'accorder ce prix honorable à des étudiants extraordinaires, Paul Derek et Kelly Parker. Finally, one of our teachers wasn't able to be here, and he asked me in his absence to present Certificate of Merit for Honors in World Languages and Spanish to Ryan Daly and Joshua Haskell. going to be presenting tennis awards now, and I know the teachers are getting hot in the sun, and the awards are that way. So I'd like to move you all into the shade so we can get to the awards. And I also would like to take this moment while they're moving to get a picture for the Japanese. We didn't get the picture and the awards in it, so we'll do that while we're moving.
I was so excited, so Certificate of Merit for honor the World Cup. That's me.
We're on to the tennis part. We'll keep it short and sweet, but we wanted to give some tennis awards out. And I want to introduce the coaching staff to everybody. Everybody knows them, but just in case you don't, it's a phenomenal group of guys, men, who have worked miracles together. Every single player here has improved, what's it, quantum leap? By leaps and bounds. We've got kids who are tops of the nation, tops in their sections, tops in our hearts, and it's all due to these four men who've just worked with them day in and day out and given them their hearts and their souls and their courage and everything under pressure. And I want to commend Timmer Willing and John Hilton, Dirk Baker, and head coach Skip Redondo. And also in absentia is Wayne Bryan, who sends his best. He's at the NCAAs in the team and individual championships in Georgia. And just talked to him yesterday, and he said to be sure that he told all the players that I told them for him how great of a time he's had this year, how much he feels everyone has improved, and just feels like he's dying that he's not here today, but he's with his sons in Georgia, so he knew that you would understand. Skip, who's first? Skip? Skip Redondo will start.
Okay, this is for participation certificate. Get it on the mouth. Okay, this player participated in most of the practices and probably participated in all the classes. Did not participate in practice, did not participate in some of his classes because he was sick. He participated in all the parties at the guy's house. And the thing is, I know all the players that were in the academy wanted him to participate in a game called Butts Up. His name is John Clone.
Yeah.
Okay, now this is the tough one. This is called the most improved attitude. Now, in the beginning of the first semester, it was really tough. All of us coaches were going crazy because we had a lot of guys and girls. They were throwing their rackets, they were pounding their rackets. They were saying, my favorite word was suck, and I hate to use that word, but we stopped doing that in the second semester. The attitudes, in the first semester, a lot of them didn't do well in the first semester, and all of us coaches and Mark was going, what's going on with our top-ranked kids here? So the second semester, we really worked on their attitude. We're talking about running every day, 3 o'clock. If somebody just said, I suck, dropped a racket. We had John, Neil, and Timmer. They were at 3 o'clock to about 3:30, just doing gases, and we just ran them. And then I had a player that I got tired of her racket going and that favorite phrase. And I got her up at 6 o'clock for 2 weeks in the morning and worked her out until she straightened out. But I want to name, there was 2 girls and two guys, okay? The most improved attitude is June Jacobs and Kelly Partlow. Kelly's not here. She's at a tournament right now in Washington, D.C. And Derek Bauer and Brian Elwell. This award is the Comeback Kid Award. Now, this is a good one. I mean, I really enjoyed giving this one out because all those coaches talked about it more. Mark kept on going, what's happening with where are the results for these two students? And the big thing was that they didn't do too well in the beginning of the year. I mean, I'm going to talk about Josh Haskins first. Josh ended up playing in the beginning of the year. I mean, he had a great 16-year-old division. I mean, last year he did really good in the 16. This year he started off playing all the number 1 seeds and the number 2 seeds. But he hung in there and he worked hard, and he ended up losing like a lot of times 7-5 or 6-4 in the third set. But he was playing the top-ranked players in Southern California. Now he comes back, and he had a great. The last 2 or 3 tournaments he had a great tournament. Matter of fact, I want to talk about the Michelob Light, the tournament, this last tournament. He wants to go to Berkeley. The guy that he beat first round at the Michelob Light is going to be probably playing number 5 for Berkeley. So he ended up beating him in straight sets. So that means he's really working hard. I mean, his attitude, his performance on the court, he stopped throwing his. I mean, he did bang his racket, he didn't throw his racket, but he did bang his racket. But he's maturing. And next year, I'm going to see some big results out of him because he'll be second-year 18. Plus, he's learning the game. We asked him to do a lot of things. We asked him to learn how to volley. Tim Willing did a great job. Tim did a great job on John, straightening out his attitude, working on his volleys, telling him to come in the net, and he did it. First semester, he didn't really want to do it because he wanted to win from the back, but he worked hard, and the results are there. The results are there. The other thing with June Jacobs, I mean, I was going crazy last semester because I told Mark, let's get June over here, and I wanted to work with her, and she wasn't getting any results. I mean, her attitude was really bad, but I fixed her attitude. You know, she wanted to have fun, but I kept telling her that she has a lot of talent to become a successful tennis player, college or professional tennis. I mean, she has a world-class game. I mean, as a professional, I mean, she hits the ball so hard like a professional tennis player. I've worked with two girls that were ranked 6th in the world, Anya Thomas-Berry and my sister, Marita. She hits the ball as hard as they do, but she needs to learn to volley, which she has been doing. I mean, she went to Ojai, and everybody's going, well, why is she coming up to the net? She's finally doing it. She's finally doing it. She's doing it. She did it in the last tournament. She was down 5-1 to Jocelyn Forget, who was ranked number 2 in Southern Cal. She was down 5-1 in the third set, and she said she started losing. She started losing her, so she came back and won it 7-5. So the whole thing is her attitude. Her attitude changed. She's not afraid to come into the net. There's still a lot more to work on, but when she learns this, she's going to be a great player. June and Josh, come on up.
Come back, kids. Next, John Hilton. John Hilton is going to hand out a couple of awards. So John, why don't you come on up? Okay, and the award, first one I'm going to hand out goes to the most improved player. And on the ladies' side, it's going to go to the girl who unfortunately is not here today, Catherine Heffel. Again, I cannot speak for the whole year since I've only been here for 10 weeks, but this is through Dirk, Skip, Mark, and Timmer. And I've seen, just in the 10 weeks I've been here, a lot of improvement from Catherine, especially when it comes to her attitude and her work ethic from the baseline. I mean, she used to be someone, if she didn't hit a winner on the first or second ball, she didn't want to last. It's either first or second point, she was done. She really improved on starting to work the point around, learn again, and Skip says, on how to play the game. I mean, we still want to get her to come to the net once in a while, except when she's shaking hands. That seems to be the only time she comes up, but other than that, she's working the point well from the baseline. I mean, she's having rallies that are going 15, 20 balls, and for Catherine, that's saying a lot. She's really improved, and she's playing, improved so much, she's been invited to represent her region in a training center this week, and she left yesterday for it, so congratulations for her. And
again, it's been great working with her. For the guys, we have two guys that stand out the most for most improved player. First of all, this gentleman, I first saw him this January when I was up with some boys that I work with from Intermountain. And I saw him play, and he lost to one of my boys in the tournament. I was impressed, and Michael Cameron really stood out to me that he had a lot of weapons, still developed a lot of weapons, but had a great work ethic. And I was real glad when Mark had the opportunity to get him to come here. And I was real glad when I had the opportunity to come and work with Michael. I've got to work with him on the court as well as see him off the court and live right next to him. But most improved player definitely stands out for him. He's improved a lot. I've seen him play some really, really tough matches against these tough players in Southern Cal, and he's improving leaps and bounds. I mean, it's great to see that his improvement has come on the court, and his results are starting to come there. And best of luck to you, and hopefully we'll see you next year, and hopefully we'll do well in the sectionals coming up. So Michael Cameron, come on up.
And there's one.
Stay here, because we got one more to come up. The next one, again from Intermountain. That's the Intermountain clan going right now. He's, besides most improved, I definitely have to give him the earring award. He's got a eyebrow ring that definitely stands out, but Travis Williamson, when I first came here, I would always see Travis, and he was real quiet and kept to himself and stuff, and boy, that changed. He really started getting into his game, which is what we like to see. He started getting motivated about it and started working when things weren't going well for him. He wanted to work on it and improve, and I have seen him play some real tight matches in the last few weeks, and he had a great result last weekend. And just from the games that he's partaken with us, he's really improved a lot. And again, hopefully he could be one that we would like to see back next year again and continue to see his growth. And same for you, Travis. Good luck in the upcoming sectionals, and come on up and receive your award. Make sure you get that picture of this up there. Congratulations. We have another award here. This is for the fitness award. So this goes to what we as coaches thought was the most fit female and male. And for the female, this one was very easy. Bill Jones, mainly because, again, Chris Skiff, who's worked with a lot of the top players worldwide, and nationally, and same with Timmer and Dirk. And myself, who worked with the girls down number 1 at UCLA, Amanda, she had the great ability to do exactly what we said, especially in the morning, and all the fitness stuff. She was always the one that led the way. I mean, she would sit there and start and take off and get everyone else pumped up to go. And Bill Jones, congratulations for that. Come on up and receive your award. For the guy, fitness award. This one goes to one of my roommates, Nick Moxley. And this, again, same thing. He works his butt off, and he's in great shape. I mean, he's really gone the extra mile right now. There's a lot of times in the morning where I'll see him up doing his crunches and doing stuff like that in the weight room, trying to get a little bigger that way, but he's in great shape, doing his stomach work. And again, same thing. He's right with her, leading the way, letting everyone try and set the pace and follow me. And congratulations. Come on up and receive your award.
I wanted to make sure that it's clear too that these awards were voted on by the players and coaches. So this was a combined. When somebody gets the fitness award, the players were also voting for these players. Next will be Dirk Baker to hand out a couple of awards.
I've been asked to hand out 3 different categories: the most improved ranking, a leadership award, and the most valuable player. The first one, most improved ranking. We asked all the kids to participate, and it's a pretty demanding tournament schedule. One of the main goals throughout our tournament, our academy years, to get the kids ranked up high enough to play in national tournaments. And most of the kids are high enough. Some of them are on the bubble where they need a couple good wins. So our schedule is pretty tough, and it's not easy because, and thinking about it, most of the kids improved in anything like that. We had picked one girl and one guy, and the one girl is Sarah Sampson, and the other guy is Phil Garrett. Leadership award. Again, we have many leaders in our academy, and we teach the kids to be independent, to do everything they can to step up. Wayne Bryan was really good at instilling a lot of these qualities in our kids, to do anything they could to help out within the academy, around the tournaments, just to overall just be a leader, be a good example, and represent the academy in a good way. And we've got a lot of great kids out here that did that this year. 2 that stood out that we chose were Tiffany Brun.
Yeah.
Photo. Tiffany photo.
Wait, okay, 1 second.
I'm sorry, Director, you were right there.
Yeah, there is another one on the sheet. Nick Rainey, he's not here with us today, but John did give him his award. Okay, last, another good award that, again, this is the most valuable player award. Another tough one to pick because, in my mind, all the kids are valuable and all the coaches feel that way, but on the practice court, in the tournaments, just someone who held a good standard and had the results that was a good example to follow, and was a good leader for our academy, Ryan Redondo. And unfortunately he's not here with us. I'm going to give it to Skip. Put it in the garage with the rest of
Next. Sorry. Timber Willing. We're almost there. We're almost there. Couple of awards from Timber. The award I have first here is the most dedicated players. And this is one of my favorite awards because when you think of dedicated, you think of persistence. They're day in, day out. And it doesn't just show on the tennis court. When you're dedicated, it can't just be the tennis. It's got to be the academics. It must be the fitness. It's everything. And we all know that this doesn't come overnight. It takes a long road, as Carla was mentioning. And it's a tough journey. And it's like that, here comes my Indiana, it's like chopping down that tree. You just can't swing the axe with one blow. You got to keep chipping away at it, and that's what these players have done. As a matter of fact, you've probably seen their tops out on the court. That would be Bo Berglund and Bo Jones.
Yeah.
The next award I have is for the Team Player Award. This person was very supportive of all other tennis players out here, not just within our academy, but very open towards the other players at other tournaments. He was one of our late ones all the time. We always had somebody to blame if everybody else was late, but he's very supportive of all other players here, and that goes to Kevin Gill.
Yeah.
out the Most Valuable Coach Award here. And in the years that I've been coaching tennis, I've been East Coast, Midwest, now I've been West Coast, thought I'd never be here. I've never found a group of coaches that have communicated and have worked together more than I have here. And I don't know if I'm ever going to find that ever anywhere else. I'm amazed by how Mark helped put this all together. It just blended immediately. It almost seemed effortless. It seemed effortless. And I haven't enjoyed coaching as much as I have until I met this group of guys here. And this award goes to the guy that we feel, I think, puts more effort than anybody around here. He's up late on the phone, calling coaches, receiving phone calls. I'm sure many of you have called, especially that first semester. But I want to let everybody know how much I appreciate working with this group of guys and the work with this group of guys.
I want to say something before we all dismiss. Come on up here. I mean, I'm really honored to receive this Coach of the Year from my coaches, but I can't be a good coach if I didn't have the backing that I had. You know, I've coached college tennis. I've had a lot of coaches at clubs that I've taught at. But this is the first staff that I've ever been able to communicate really well. They were dedicated to the kids. I mean, they were always concerned about your behavior off the courts or on the courts, or what you did in tournaments. I mean, they all cared. And we talked a lot. I mean, you probably noticed that we were on the deck. We were talking a lot. In our rooms, you know, like my wife always thought I went to the movies or we went somewhere, but we were always in the room talking about why did this one player do not do this well. You know, and that's what makes a great staff. This is what's going to make this academy work. Is that we have a great staff, we have a great person that's making this academy work, Mark Weil, and you'll see more results in the future. And the other thing I want to mention before I get off this podium, you know, I've always wanted, like I said in the beginning here, I've always wanted to have my own tennis academy, which I didn't do, and thank God I didn't do it because Mark has done a great job. I mean, he's the first person in the West Coast that did it. I mean, I always thought I was going to do it with my family, but Mark did it, and I'm proud of being being the head coach with Mark and with my staff. But you know, I want everybody to give Mark Weil a hand and his wife because they did it. I mean, this one more thing. I mean, this is the reason why I'm so proud of Mark. You know, there was a famous coach, Robert Lansdorf, who was trying to do a tennis academy in San Diego. He had another good coach, Woody Block and Lee Mary, which I'm not knocking. Remember, they're successful coaches. They've done their thing. They've had their pros that they've worked with. They're still working with professional players. But they try to do a tennis academy just like what Mark did. But they weren't successful. It failed in the first year. I mean, they didn't have a schooling, but it didn't work. And they still have the Lee Mary and Woody Block, but Robert went off to his own thing. But here, Mark Weil did it. He did a school. He had an academic part, plus he had the tennis part, and it worked. And I'm just, like I said, I'm happy that I'm with you. Thank you.
Teacher of the Year award. Talk about tough decisions. I think that we owe our teaching staff a hand. Don't you? All my staff have been blessings to us this year. Most of them were part-time teachers. They showed up for their classes and then they could disappear. But they didn't. They interrupted their family schedule. They interrupted their life schedule to come back to school to work with individual students as they needed it. I pushed them to write curriculum that would not only pass state regulations, but prepare us for WASC accreditation, and they're part-time teachers. I asked them to mentor students individually and help them with portfolio, and they did it. And I asked them to do tutorials on the side, and they willingly agreed. And not with any more remuneration. They did it because they really love you guys. It's true. And they taught me how that works. Yeah. Okay. This award, without a doubt, goes to one teacher here who has spent more time, more energy, has gone through more reams of paper to make sure your presentations were accurate, challenging, quality, and fun. Put more effort into supporting me, even when I'm walking down the road ready to just leave this place, okay, and saying, hey, do you need help? That person was there all the time. Sometimes, more times than I wanted to be, because I wanted my own little space, but there isn't much down there. That part. We're going to move that out. So I got my sledgehammer ready. But this person, without a doubt, has exemplified what I mean when I say this person is dedicated to everything that the Weil Academy College of Performing Schools does. I'm proud to work with this school. Oh my gosh.
As Carla was describing this person, I really thought, if this person exists in our academy, it's because Carla helped create the vision. And there were times that we were ready to walk down the bike path, and Carla was there saying, you're doing a great job. Hang in there, you're doing a great job. And I think that, I think that Carla needs to be given a great deal of credit for pulling us together, for giving us the vision of what does writing a curriculum exactly mean, and pulling us up to the highest possible level we could be when we wrote that curriculum. And the same thing with our students. What is the curriculum? Where are we going? She always pulled us up to the very top level of performance as teachers, and then we pulled our students right up with us. So I feel like I was nurtured, and she talked about the love and commitment that we all feel for you. I felt it from her to me every day in this academy, and that meant a lot to me. So thank you. I felt what an incredible job I'm going to walk into and what incredible life.
I know everybody's hungry, so I'm going to keep this short. This is Co and Bo's day, no doubt. But I think that they would agree, this last award, Carla and I came up with, essentially it was Carla's idea to come up with a diamond curriculum, which kind of, she took Jane and I's ideas of leadership and service and excellence and kind of brought it into something practical that we could actually bring in and weave into the curriculum here and into the lifestyle here at the Academy. And again, she and the teachers did a beautiful job of doing this. And this is called the Weil Tennis Academy and College Preparatory School Diamond Award. And this award is a student-athlete award. We let the students vote on this, we let the coaches vote on it, the teachers, and we got a lot of votes for a lot of kids. A lot of the players and students were up for this award, but we had to give it to somebody. Carla describes this, which I agree with, is given to the... My time's almost up. Is that time? The individual who exhibits the combination of attributes that represent the highest ideals of the school and academy. These characteristics include a balance of leadership, integrity, character, spirit, academic aptitude, athletic performance, and demonstrated service and concern for others. individual is a recognized leader, both on, off the court, and in the classroom. They've demonstrated both high athletic performance in tournament play and high academic achievement in the classroom. Teachers and coaches alike find them anxious and willing to learn. This person is coachable and teachable, humble, show gratitude for people that have helped them, respected by their peers, coaches, and teachers, trustworthy, high level of integrity. I could go on and on. But basically, I just want to tell one quick story, and then we're almost done. This person who we're giving this award to this year, actually his dad told me a story about him. And he said, this is what happened one day. He said, you know, my son, Mark, you don't have to worry about him. He's absolutely trustworthy. I said, yeah, right. Yeah, so I've heard that from everybody. And he said, no, I'm going to tell you a story. He was supposed to be somewhere one night. He went out with friends. And he was supposed to be somewhere, and I gave a call over there, and he wasn't there. And I didn't think anything about it, and he walked in the next day, and I said, so, son, where were you? He said, oh, I was over, where I told you I was going to be. And his dad said, you want to change that story, son? Yeah, and he said, yeah, you're right. I wasn't there. I ended up somewhere else, but it was no big deal. He said, don't worry about it, son. I know. Things happen, and it's okay. And this guy went out, this young man, went out and played a match that same day. And in the middle of the match was so deeply moved and troubled by what he had done that he, in the middle of a service game, he laid down his racket and said, I'm sorry, I've got to go call my dad. He ran off the court, called his dad, and apologized profusely and said, I'm just so sorry. Sorry. It'll never happen again. You can trust me. It'll never happen again. And that's an incredible story to me. It made me think about my own son and how, God, I hope, pray, wish that I have that kind of relationship with my son. That he feels like mistakes are okay. He can tell me anything. If he makes a mistake, it's going to be okay with me. And he can just be there, be himself, and be a great person. And that's who this is. Let's give this award. Ryan Davis. I just want to thank again, what an incredible year, what an incredible teaching staff in the school. Again, Carla has done. Anyway, she has pulled together an incredible staff. They're so well spoken. Everybody's talked about the students in a great way. They're just, what an incredible staff. I couldn't have been blessed with a better school. The coaching staff as well. They've just held together as an incredible team, been supportive. I can't say enough about how proud I am to be involved with so many great people, and the students and the parents. Again, Michael Cameron, everybody here would not have worked without your support. It would not have been around if you guys hadn't taken a chance on me, Skip, Wayne, Carla. You took a big chance on us. I hope we came through. We tried our damnedest, and it was just an incredible year. And I thank you all for that. Incredible support from the parents, too, as much as we've all battled about little things. Just an incredible amount of love and support, and that's the kind of academy I want to have. And we're going to move on into the future with that same support. A couple of things real quick. Thank you to Susan Sumner for the yearbook. She did an incredible job last minute, put it all together. And students, please, if you haven't picked your yearbook up, pick it up from her on your way out. We're going to Bacali's, which is an Italian restaurant straight down the road. You can't miss it. You go out to the main road, take a right, and you'll run right into it. So let's all see you there. Everybody's welcome. If you need to return your books, students, do it between 2 and 4 o'clock today at the office. Jill's waiting for you. She's going to forego pizza to be there for you. Again, thank you to Susan. Susan Devins, our house parent as well. Susan and John. Filled in very nicely over at the guy's house. And I also want to recognize Bo Hackett as well. Bo was one of our seniors at the beginning of the year. Could not finish the year with us academically, but has finished training-wise. And I got you. And we send Bo off with our best wishes to Portland University, I hope. And a final to Brad Bauer. Where's Brad?
Here.
Brad, he also filled in as a house parent this year. And came up with the incredible idea that next year all the parents should do a week. Am I right, Brad? Right. So we'll be contacting you over the summer. Thank you very much, and see you at the restaurant.
What?